First, it was Rise, then Dawn, and then War, and now we've got the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. But this one is not just a straight up sequel, it's actually kind of a soft reboot of sorts as well, paving the way for possibly a new trilogy. Let's talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This one is playing in theaters right now, and it acts, yes, as a continuation sequel to the trilogy that we got over the last 10 or 15 years, but it also sort of acts as a complete reset because it takes place hundreds of years in the future. Generations have gone by, and yes, we do have mention of Caesar and some of the things that have happened in previous installments. But really, you could probably go into this never having even seen a Planet of the Apes movie and be caught up, exactly on what's happening. So the potential here is for another trilogy, even though it is sort of, yes, a little bit of a continuation. But anyway, we'll get into all of this here momentarily. First, though, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here, and just about every day I post something new. So there's always a ton to check out on the channel. If you're looking for movies or TV shows specifically, they are going to be in playlists on the homepage, so you can kind of streamline your experience. But other than that, just subscribe, hit that like button, comment below. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. And if you hit that notification bell, of course, you'll be notified when I drop new videos. Okay, so I actually had never seen any of the Planet of the Apes movies until the James Franco one came out in 2011, which sort of started this new series or whatever. But over COVID, I had a marathon night with some of my friends, and we watched all 5 of the original 60s and 70s Planet of the Apes. And it gets pretty dicey there towards the end of that 5. But the first one, obviously its status is legendary, and I think rightfully so. The second one is also pretty good, I thought, and then it sort of dropped off from there. The only one I've never seen is the Tim Burton one from, I think that was 2001. But look, it was before I was kind of seeing every movie. It wasn't something that really tickled my fancy, so I just never got around to it. And then ever since, I've kind of heard really bad things about it, so I just will probably continue to avoid that one. But I've seen all the ones in the recent series as they were released, and I would say a lot of people like the second one. I actually think the first one, the Franco one, is the best by a little bit, and then the second one. And then the third one, War for the Planet of the Apes, I gotta say, I thought was okay. I think I gave it like a C or maybe even a C minus. So that one definitely was the butt end of the recent series for sure. This one is an improvement, absolutely. So this stars Owen Teague in voicing, I should say, the lead role of Noah. He is a young chimpanzee, and he is set to kind of, be the heir to the Ape Clan throne, led by his father, Koro. You also have on the people side of things, Freya Allen as May, who is a young woman who ends up joining Noah on his journey to kind of determine the future for apes in the midst of Proximus Caesar, who is a bonobo monarch. That is voiced by Kevin Durand, and he basically leads a clan of apes in search of human technologies in attempt to basically kind of overthrow them. So like I said, this takes place hundreds of years after the more recent one, the War of the Planet of the Apes. So again, that's sort of the reset thing going on. So some positives here. Well, first of all, let's talk about the director, because it's a new director to the series, Wes Ball, who most people are familiar with through the Maze Runner series. I believe he directed all 3 of the Maze Runner movies. I'm not positive on that, but in any event, that series is kind of what he's known for. Not my favorite of the YA series. On the list, it's much further down than the Hunger Games, and a little bit further down than Divergent. So I was not really, when I heard he was directing this, I was like, okay, I don't know that we need another Planet of the Apes movie, number 1. And number 2, I didn't really like the Maze Runner, so I'm not sure what this guy's going to bring to the table. But on the positive side of this movie, it is gorgeous. The visual effects, the blending of the CGI with some of the set pieces and stuff like that worked really well. There were a few moments, anything really with a lot of water. It seemed like that looked kind of fake. So they had some issues with that, and that water actually plays in, a good bit near the latter half of the movie. But the apes looked amazing. The jungle, the backdrops looked great. The visual effects here, I think, are really, really stunning. So that is certainly one in the positive column. And with that, I mentioned kind of the sets and stuff. The production design of this is really top notch as well. So on that end of things, this movie is going full guns there. I also think that the characters were pretty good. I'm not sure if they were as good. Like Caesar is such a great character, from the last three films that it would be tough, I think, to compete with that, and I'm not sure we ever get quite to that level. And unfortunately, we don't really experience Proximus Caesar enough. I don't even think he shows up until the movie's like half over. And same with one of the other human counterparts, William H. Macy. I think we're a good hour and like 10 minutes before either of those characters even show up. And that is one of my biggest problems with the movie, is that the first hour I thought was quite slow. Yes, visually it worked, but I think they spent a lot of time sort of building up this world and giving us the interactions with humans in this particular day and age, and okay, this is what the humans are and what they're not, and we need to do this and that. And it's like it spent a lot of time, I thought, sort of building that up and sort of talking about all of that, when we really could have gotten to the meat and potatoes of the storyline a good bit quicker. That's my biggest negative probably with this. Also, I think other than kind of wrapping things up a little too quickly by the end with the Proximus character, I also think it was almost kind of silly, or I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not going to go into spoiler territory, but I think some of the things that happened toward the end of this film, even in a Planet of the Apes movie, were a little bit far fetched. So that definitely goes in the negative column. But I definitely wanted to explore Proximus Caesar a little bit more. But I like the character of Noah a lot, and I hope we see more with him if we are going to make this into a new trilogy or have a future installment or whatever. Obviously I think it's probably going to be focused on the Noah character, but certainly the ending, and again, we're not going to do spoilers, but the ending does reveal some ideas of what we can expect maybe in a second film, as we go through. But I think the voice acting was really good as well. I'm not super familiar with Owen Teague. I knew the name, but let's see, what might I know him from? All right, I've seen him in a couple of things. Mrs. Fletcher was a miniseries I watched. He's in a fourth season episode of Black Mirror. I did not watch Black Mirror. All right. Oh, he was in The Stand. Okay, which version? I don't know. Was that the more recent? Okay, that's the Whoopi Goldberg one. All right, so we've seen him in a few things, but I thought he did a really, really good job with the voice work here. So look, overall, I think this is probably about on par for me with the second movie in the most recent reboot. It's not quite as good as that first one with Franco and John Lithgow. That's the only one I've seen multiple times. I saw that at least 3 times. The other ones I've only seen once, and that is another positive maybe for this movie, is that I barely remember the War for the Planet of the Apes because I didn't really like it. And even forgetting kind of everything that happens in that movie, they bring you up to speed immediately. With this one, so I like that as well. But yeah, this one sits for me kind of, in that more middling ground. But I will definitely say that because of the great production design and some of the great effects in this movie, I will bump it up a little bit from average for sure. So I will leave Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes with a B minus. Definitely that first hour could have been condensed by half. And I think we would have had, a tighter, better movie for sure. But all right, thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It, and I'll see you next time. Bye.